Welcome to Bird Seeds. This is Joe Bird. As always, thank you so much for joining me here today. Excited to share a quote that kind of struck me really hard on Instagram. An author that I really like, Mark Manson. He's the author behind the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, if you will, which is a bestseller. Fantastic book. Absolutely love it. But I was just scrolling Instagram and this quote popped up. I follow him on there and he's got a podcast. I follow all that stuff. I think he's a really smart guy. He shares a lot of really great points. But this one particular quote, it's just the story of the year for me. It's just, my mantra for the year, which has been, decide and act, slow down, decide and act. So, I've touched on this many times. I tend to be in reactionary mode instead of response mode. So bad thing happens, fire off the quick email. That's reacting to it. That's not responding to it. Slow down. Think about how you want to respond. Decide how you want to respond, and then do it. And that do it part gets really hard sometimes. So I wind up in that default mode of either reacting or taking too long to decide, analysis paralysis, and I don't actually do anything. And that's not productive either. I don't know actually which one of those two is less productive, not doing anything or reacting. I guess it depends on the situation. So this quote tipped me like a bag of bricks or whatever cliche saying you want to have there. But learning more is a smart person's favorite form of procrastination. Yeah, learning more is a smart person's favorite form of procrastination. And that's so true. I'm trying to work on these mixes I've been working on, and it's the perfection aspect. It's just so hard to just say it's done, or say it's as good as it's going to get, or say it's as good as it's going to be for right now, because I have this perfectionism. I want it to be absolutely perfect. I want to learn more. I want to, trial and error. I want to figure it out. And that forces me to read about it or download some new plugins or do that, but not actually do the mixing because I'm procrastinating, because I want it to be perfect. And I'm using knowledge and needing more knowledge as the vehicle for that procrastination. It's an excuse. It's 100% what it is. Now, don't get me wrong. You can take this quote completely out of context and say, learning is great. 100% learning is great. We should always be learning. We should always be developing. But we got to be in the now. We got to be in the present, and we got to be able to just get the thing done. There's beauty in imperfection. I listen to a lot of music. I follow a lot of music. I like watching on Instagram and things like that, the reels about, music producers talking about studio sessions for famous albums. And, I love hearing Butch Vig talk about recording Nirvana and how Kurt Cobain, notorious kind of pain in the butt, Kurt Cobain wanted everything to be just organic, mistakes included, live track everything. And, hear them kind of go through that process of how they got some of that organicness, yet still got it to be sounding good, and how they talked them into it. And I mean, they are beautifully imperfect records. They are not perfect, but they are so artistic, so expressive, so awesome. So they're polished enough, but yet raw enough. It's great. But as an example, he didn't like doubling his vocals. But they were able to say, Lennon doubled the vocals, so maybe you should double your vocals. And he did. And they sound fantastic, especially if you like that kind of music. But it was just genre defying, pushing the boundaries. I also love, there's one song where they just couldn't get the sound right. And Kurt laid down on the sofa in the mixing room and said, this is how it should sound. And just laid on his back and played the guitar part. And the producer said, hold up, start over, and put a mic on it, and recorded it that way. And that's what's on the record. I think that stuff is so cool. And that's the prime example of not letting learning get in the way, or learning be a procrastination. I would be like, oh, that's a really cool way to mic that, but let me go and research how that's been done and watch some videos on how that's been done. And maybe I probably should have a ribbon mic if I'm going to do that, not a, large diaphragm condenser or small diaphragm condenser or dynamic or whatever. I need a ribbon mic. So let me go get the ribbon mic, and then we'll do it. It's going to take a week to get here, and we'll do it next week. And you've lost all the magic in the moment. Just do it. And do it. And next time you do it, you can do it better. And guess what? If you learn how to do it better during the process, you can still redo it. So just do it. I'm talking to myself. Just do it. So I'm going to do some mixing tonight because I'm going to do it. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. It's going to be as good as it's going to be, and I'm going to be happy about it, and that's great. So again, Joe Bird, Bird Seeds, thanks for listening. Quick hit. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day.